Andrei Degeler joins us live from Khmelnytsky in western Ukraine. Andrei, the second round of talks between Russia and Ukraine has begun. Can we expect any points of consensus?
It is really hard to say whether this second round is going to yield more than the first did, and the first didn't yield much at all. So the latest I have heard so far is that the negotiations did start about an hour ago, and the Ukrainian side has stated that it has three main points on its agenda, which is the immediate ceasefire, an armistice, and the creation of humanitarian corridors to the places which are now occupied by the Russian forces in Ukraine in order to evacuate children and provide humanitarian support. I wouldn't really hold my breath about the first 2 points, but I really do hope, and I think it makes sense to expect that there will be some consensus achieved on the third point, that is the humanitarian corridors today.
Andrei, there are multiple reports citing Ukrainian sources that Russia is planning to shell its own territory to blame Ukraine and justify further bombing of Ukrainian cities. What have you heard about that?
Yes, indeed, there have been a few reports citing the information received by the security service of Ukraine, pointing to one particular spot on the Russian side of the border near the Sumy Oblast here in Ukraine. And the reports are that the Russian army is going to turn its artillery back and shell its own territory, indeed, in order to keep the offensive. So right now, of course, the security service of Ukraine is trying to contain this situation, and they are, of course, trying to prevent this disinformation spreading from Russia if this indeed happens. However, what I see here is that, in Ukraine, I don't think a lot of people will believe that the Ukrainian armed forces are shelling the Russian territory because they are very much occupied with a lot of other things. On the other hand, in Russia, it seems like the propaganda has created a very much parallel reality in which, indeed, it makes a lot of sense that Ukraine goes onto offensive. And in both cases, it will be really, really hard to convince people that the truth is that Russia indeed did that, if it is, of course, going to do this alleged thing.
Thanks very much, Andrei. We're speaking to Andrei Degeler in Khmelnytsky.